13th annual Summerfield Founders Day is set for Saturday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Look for hopefully a pretty weather and a lot of attendance. Friday night, the sock hop at the 70th anniversary of the Summerfield Gymnasium. Do we have anything else related to that that we need to talk about?
Just please come.
Please come. Okay, the Finance Committee.
Mark, I'm not anything to report. We're still working with the committees on the budget and the staff on the budget, and the next meeting is 18.
Historic Committee.
I've got several things, but I'll make them real brief. In History 10, we've already got 18 tables, people committing. This is churches, different groups in the community, and it's a great variety. We're looking forward to that on Saturday. I pick up the picture that we have had repaired, which has been over about a 2-year span of the Junior Order of United American Auto Mechanics. And I pick it up Wednesday night. It's all finished, and I cannot wait to see it because the last time I saw it, it was in little crumbles. So we'll see what he has done with that. One thing I did want to mention in this paper Sunday is an obituary for Alvin Sharon, who died. He was in his 90s. He was buried Monday at the Baptist Church. And he was one of the remaining 2 members of that organization. And I don't know who the other one is, but I do want to find out who that is that's still living. We've also hired a temporary curator to help us catalog the things in the museum. She'll be working with the committee, and she seems to be very, very proficient, Paige Mazaris. Also, we have a new brochure that we hope we're going to have ready to get out Friday night and Saturday. It's really, really nice. It covers all of Summerfield, not just the historical district. And the committee has worked on that. Bill and Mary Jane Gordon and Alice Peterson have spent, many, many hours working on that. And then for Veteran Appreciation Day, we're looking forward to that. And we want to honor all the veterans here in Summerfield. I hope we'll have a really good crowd. And we want to talk to them also about sharing their memories. This would be from any wars. So please tell anyone in your family or anyone that you know, please come.
Linda?
Yes.
It says here Gladys Scarlett is donating 2 of her books for a raffle
That is correct.
at the
Yes.
History tent. What are the proceeds going to go to?
Well, the History Committee usually puts these in the town, gives them to the town, and they keep them for us until something comes up. Well, I know one thing that we did was give money to one of the scouts that had a project. And it's, what do we have? We have some money there now. And just when something comes up that we feel is worthwhile is what we like to use that money for.
Okay, so that's not going to the Rockton fundraiser?
Not at this point, it could. If the committee decided to do that, I think it'd be great to give it a
Thank you.
Okay, Parks and Rec.
We had a great meeting last Thursday night. We're working primarily on, Sherry Joseph is keeping us abreast of what's going on with the budget, and we are working on events in the park for the year 2009-2010. And we're excited about the 2 events that are coming up in June, which are in this fiscal year. So we have our plate full.
Okay, Public Safety.
They're canceling the May meeting due to no business. I don't know the exact day.
Okay.
May 20th.
All right. Summerfield Youth Council. And Comprehensive Plan Committee.
The Comprehensive Plan Committee met on Monday, May 4th at 6:45, and we had 19 members in attendance. That's pretty much what we get every month. It's a good core group. We reviewed the citizen comments from the town open house regarding water supply and sewage treatment and transportation improvements. The discussion included policy items common objectives, and potential action items with good dialogue and information sharing, and we adjourned at 9:15.
Okay, Athletic Advisory Committee.
The Athletic Advisory Committee met yesterday to discuss the proposals for Summerfield Athletic Park and also go over other elements of discussion, including irrigation systems, retention ponds, the restroom concession building, and as discussed earlier, requested a special meeting with council next week to go over that in detail.
All right. Business from the manager, update on Jordan Lake rules.
As you are aware, the Jordan Lake rules were brought forward through the environmental rules committee and were passed. Many of the local jurisdictions were very concerned with it, including town of Summerfield, and an effort was made to oppose those rules in the state legislature, which they were, which allowed for an opportunity for the local governments to work with the state legislature on the Jordan Lake watershed rules. Through the process, which has been very quick over the last week or so, a substitute bill was proposed that was satisfactory to the local governments affected by Jordan Lake, and those were passed by the environmental committee of the House last week with a no action or no opinion, meaning that they recognized the fact that there were some that opposed it and some that were in favor of the rules, so they just passed it on basically without any comment. The Judicial One Committee reviewed them yesterday and did pass them so that they are now in crossover, meaning they'll now go to the state Senate, and it appears, or I'm sorry, they go to the full House and then from there over to the state Senate. It does appear that the coalition that was put together to change these regulations and not make them so onerous to local governments has held, and that there is support in the state House for it. I thank you for those council members that made contact with local representatives. It had an effect, and it looks, if everything continues as going, that the rules that are approved will be satisfactory, the best rules that we can expect to come out of this. It does not mean that we're off the hook as far as regulation-wise. There are going to be a series of regulations that we will have to implement, but some of the most significant portions of it have to do with retroactively going into communities and installing watershed devices and things of that nature appear to have been pushed back and potentially not required at all in cases of town Summerfield. So there will be some new rules, but they will apply mainly to new development, not to existing development, which is one of the biggest issues and one of the costliest issues that we were facing.
It applies mostly to developers now.
Well, right, the developer will have to put in the devices, and the neighborhoods would then have to maintain the devices. We'll still have to oversee the proper functioning of those devices, and we will also have to go into a series of educational programming, which we've already started that anyway through Stormwater Smart programming that we run with the Council of Governments now. We'll just have to continue that program and potentially ramp it up and make sure that we're reaching the community at a higher level than we are now on communications. And most of that has to do with how and what we put on our grass for fertilizers and things of that nature, and because that all runs off into the stormwater system, which eventually ends up in our groundwater, either surface water for the city of Greensboro, or surface water for Jordan Lake, or in our own well water we're pulling back out over time. But it is about the best that we could have hoped for, considering where we were in. Any questions?
Okay, item D, request council to allow transfer of project coordination for the rail trail parking lot purchase to Guilford County Park and Rec staff.